wings and tail are mottled turkey quill. Okay, now I've got this turkey quill that comes from Hook and Hackle, but it's photo created from white turkey feathers. That's the original from wild turkeys.
Look down a little bit.
Pardon?
A little lower so you can see it.
Okay, you see the difference between them.
Higher. Higher.
See the big difference between them. I've had this a while. $3.50 for this.
Must be from the fishing pole, right?
Oh, it had to be for that price. I don't even want to know how much I paid for these. So it's, as one of my friends would say, that's $3.50 Canadian dollars. Now, making the tail on this fly is at best interesting. This package will not open. That shows you that it's all new. One of the things I usually do, and I went through my turkey quill, I normally will take art fixative and hang the feathers up by the quill, hang them up like this. Just take the feathers and put them in paper clips and hang them up, and then spray them with art fixative. It helps the fibers stay together. When you get turkey quill, you need a left and a right. Okay, you need a left and a right for these things, because you're going to take material from one side and the other so that they're on opposite sides of the hook. Okay? Now, I hope everybody's patient tonight, because I may get a little frustrated with this, but this is the one that didn't get tied at home. Grandpa was a little busy, but what the hell. Okay, that's from one side. Now, from approximately the same place, the same place on the feather, cut off another piece. Now, what we're going to do, royal we, I'm going to put this on the hook and try not to swear when I do it. Put the two so that the feathers curl together, and try to get them on either side of the hook. And I'll just hold them there and let them hang there magically, because I haven't put the thread on the hook yet. You were going to let me get away with that, weren't you, Bill? Take a picture of me trying to hold that on there.
Well, you said it was going to be difficult.
Yeah. Muddler minnows are kind of fun to tie. They're fun to fish. They work well in the bow. I think Barry ties one that's got 3 carloads of lead on it. Get it down. Okay, now let's see. Now we want these on the hook on either side of the hook. So that they curl up. Okay. Now you really got to pinch on this when you do this, because if you don't, the fibers on my left side will separate. And once you've got it tied on, you can never go back on that tail. Okay, you can't go back that way, because what will happen is it will flatten it and you'll lose that tail. Okay. Carefully tying. Now, what does he want? Oh yeah, underwing mottled turkey. Spun and clipped, yeah. Fun and games part. Take the tying thread to the front, because the next material gets on there in a double layer. we're going to put the body is flat tinsel. Some guys do flat tinsel with a oval rib to give it a little segmentation. I have seen silver tinsel tied, I've seen gold tinsel. I actually saw one tied with peacock tinsel. It's a peacock green. I'm going to attempt for this to be silver. So I'm tying the tinsel on at the front. Okay. Now the remainder of the fly, okay, tie this on at the front, and I got to go down to the back because I forgot something. Got to put some copper wire on here. You can also use red copper, blue copper. Looking on the internet, I saw stuff and I went, what? I mean, I know we have a member who likes to modify patterns slightly, but I think you can go too...
Sacrilegious thing like that?
Pardon?
Who would do the sacrilegious thing like that?
Oh, I don't know. Do you know who it is, Vince?
No idea.
Lay the copper wire on the side of the hook, get this out of the way, and run the tying thread up to the front. This should have been tied on before I put the tinsel on, but that's okay. We're all perfect. Okay, now what we're going to do is wrap this tinsel and try and get the wraps as close together as possible. When you used to do this with metallic tinsel, it flipped over. You dirty, rotten bugger. Okay, we'll go with the gold body because I'm not unwrapping. When you used to do this with the metallic tinsel, you'd get usually about here and tear the tinsel because it was brittle. I don't even know what it was made of. Do you? Yeah? What was the metallic tinsel made of? I know it was a pain in the neck to tie with. But when that's all you got. Okay. Easy part's done. Wrap it with copper wire. And you notice I've tried to stop quite a ways back from the eye of the hook. I need room to finish the fly. And like I said, this is one of the first flies I ever tied. You know, just coincidence. The guy who was president of the club I was in just happened to be a renal surgeon. Who knew that 15 years later I'd need one? Right. Okay, now, the next step, we grab the good old mottled turkey feather again. And we want, the first part of it I took from the short side, I guess you'd call the buyout side of the quill. Now I need some longer pieces. And the bottom end of this thing is all beat up, and that's where the art fixative comes in, because you can get pieces out. Now I want a piece about maybe a little bit wider than that, so I'll have to put that one in the trash. There we go, that's better. About a quarter of an inch wide. Then I go over here and try to get from a similar place. It used to be these were really hard to come by, and I was down at the Strathcona market one Saturday morning, and a guy had a table full of them, literally a table full of these feathers. And he was selling them for $2.50 a dozen. And I reached down and picked up 2 dozen, and she who must be obeyed looked at me and she said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm buying fly tying materials." She says, "No, we're here to get things to eat." I said, "Well, we try to eat these, but they didn't work." Okay, either side, again, the same pattern of this thing. Once you get it on the hook, you got to squeeze like crazy and wrap, and then go towards the eye of the hook. And you don't go back again. And you want these things to kind of curve like that. Nah, I could have tied better. This one's a bit too long. Turn them off. I'm going to have to go back further because I need more room. Thank goodness for rotary vices. And I'm going to cover some of this up anyway. Alright, now we dig out the part that messes up the hull the most. Bucktail, or deer hair. Where did I hide my deer hair? Okay, now I get my hair cutting scissors out. I try not to cut with the same scissors that I'm using for most of my tying materials. Now you want a piece, maybe about the diameter of a pencil. If that makes any difference. Cut as close to the skin as you can, then get rid of the fuzzies. Okay. Get all the loose fibers. Now, if you have hunting buddies and you want deer hair, you want one that's harvested early in the fall, before they get all the underfur. If you get one in the spring, you get a little bit of deer hair and underfur. I get really heavy underfur. Get out my handy dandy hair stacker that has the wife pleaser on the bottom. Put one of those little round felt things for, then it just goes thump thump thump. It doesn't go whack whack whack. Even the tips up. Come back, do a little bit of hand stacking. That's why I take a big clump. Now, next I'm going to do is set this down, put a quick hand whip finish on this thing, because I don't trust the deer hair. And then we take the scissors and cut the thread off. After we've cut the thread off, we grab that my magic tool. Where'd it go? Here it is. This came from Wally Lutz. Take a straw, cut a piece, a centimeter or two off the straw. You want the ones for milkshakes or McDonald's ones, big ones. Slide the straw onto your bobbin, like that. Then tie the thread back on. Okay? Anybody see where I'm going with this? Now, tips forward. Put the deer hair on. And I'm going to try to get the deer hair to go around the hook before I tie it down.
So you used about the length, extending that front
About
of
the length of the wings, yeah. Okay? And I want it just to flare, okay, but I'm not trying to spin it, so I'm keeping hold of it. Okay? Now, it's all flared out. Get my deer scissors out. Right? And clip off the butts
without clipping the wings.
without clipping off the wing and without clipping off the stuff that's sticking out the front and all that other good stuff. Come on. Okay. Looks pretty good. By the way, this would go in my cripple box. It's got some stuff on it I don't like. So. But we all have flies like that, right? Now you take the deer hair and take the pieces you set out over the front and pull them back. Okay, try to get them as far back as you can. Get the thread in front. Then take the piece of straw and push it over the deer hair.
Can you lift the light up just a little bit? You're almost blocking that out. The light. That's it. Yeah.
Okay? So you push the straw down over top of the deer hair. Then you take your thread and just wrap the head. Should have left the thread back. But it makes bullet heads a lot easier. For some reason my brain is saying, hurry up Dave, hurry up Dave, hurry up Dave, so I'm making mistakes. And again, head cement this thing. Deer hair is ugly when it comes to doing things. You have to be careful with some of the thread you use. Some guys use only Kevlar when they're tying deer hair. When you do that, you got to be really, really careful because it'll cut the deer hair. But there we are. That's a crippled version of a Muddler bullet head.